Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folari. Okay, it mixes in with our social life, education, and all of that. Actually, that's my own roundabout way of opening up on the topic, how to grow the economy through Polytechnic education. That's our theme today. That's our subject matter. And this is coming up, shall we say, in the build-up to the 45th anniversary of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. Well, I have the person who can best talk about this whole matter because he is the rector of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Dr. Mukayo Aremo Akinde. Dr. Akinde, good morning and thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm pleased to be here.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Our pleasure, always. It's the 45th anniversary. And so this is coming from what, when it was first established? Well, 45 years ago.
45 years ago.
45 years ago. And the Polytechnic must have grown in leaps and bounds. Apart from it being the 45th anniversary on Wednesday the 19th, and that's why we're, building up to it. It's also going to be the occasion of the 22nd convocation ceremony.
Yes.
So there's quite a lot going on, and indeed there will be a convocation lecture. But we'll get into some of those, shall we say, domestic details as we go along. But maybe I should start off by, first of all, congratulating you on, reaching this milestone, 45th anniversary. It's no joke. But also to quickly sort of jump into the topic of the Japa syndrome, because you're in education. And how much of a concern is that to you?
That's very interesting. But I will not start that way. I want to allow my viewers to know that the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro was created 1979, 45 years ago. A child born in 1979 is 45 years today. That's a long milestone.
Indeed.
Very indeed. Now, in the academics that we are, the Japa syndrome, the brain drain, under the Renew Hope agenda of the Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is biting on the Polytechnic. In the academics, the lecturers are leaving, going abroad to do one thing or the other because of maybe they felt that the salary is poor here. They are having better salary abroad. Job mobility, that's what we call labor mobility, is international. You can move from one country to the other where you think you are better off. That's what is happening. I think since 2022 to date, I can tell you that we have lost about 150 academic staff traveling abroad in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, mention them to other universities. So, and we are really solving that brain drain, and that's what necessitated that topic. That topic was actually approved by the academic board to look at it. How do we navigate around it? What is the solution? And we have a better discussion who is coming to do so on Wednesday 19, February 2025. That is the Inspector General of Police, Oh,
the Inspector General will be delivering
it's the one that will be delivering that convocation lecture. To actually unfold to the graduates to see why we need to stay in this country. The President has assured us that it's retooling the economy. Why don't we stay in our country to develop our country? Where we are running to wasn't built in a day. After all, that they said that London Bridge was not constructed in a day. So we need to start doing some things to have hope in this country. And you can see the direction where the president is going, trying to rejig every aspect of the economy to have confidence so that the youth can stay in this country, work, and better for it. So that's the essence of that topic. So I know that the Inspector General of Police will give us the leadway to that paper, and the youth that we discuss, that will be listening to us on that day, will learn a lot of things and have hope in the country. The country is good. We have a lot of resources, human and capital. Why do we need to leave the country? Why can't we stay in our country to make it better like other countries? Dubai got independence in 1974. Much later, look at what it is today. It is leader that changed the country. Even look at Singapore. The leader, I think, Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew. Look at what he did to Singaporean today, and what it is today. So that's what our leader today is doing. So let us see the way that topic will be discussed by the IGP on Wednesday next week. The momentum is on, sir. And I'm thinking that the TVC with this state-of-the-art facility will grace the occasion to come and see what is happening, because Federal Polytechnic Ilaro is one of the best in this country.
Okay, now talking about that, because let me go there. This whole matter about, you've just spoken about quality, and so I was going to say, do you see the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro as a center of excellence? Because, and I take that as the lead up to the other question I was going to touch on, which is that, okay, there's also this debate about university education or polytechnic education, and there's thought to be some, is there some argument? In fact, what is the role of polytechnics? We sort of know them as more technically minded, more hands-on, much more than theoretical, but you are the expert. Tell us the basic difference in polytechnic education and university education. Because oftentimes both of them, have qualifications, some of them have qualifications from both institutions.
You are being factual. I will tell you the difference between the two institutions. Yes, I have also passed through the university as well as the Polytechnic. Let me inform you that I have both ND and HND of the Federal Polytechnic in Ilaro. Okay. I was. Oh,
you're actually a homegrown Ilaro boy. Ilaro,
yes.
In quotes.
Yeah, I'm the first alumnus that will be director of that Polytechnic, and that I've also been to very great universities like University of Lagos, University of Ibadan. I've also been to Covenant University, the best university in Nigeria, where I got my PhD. The difference between Polytechnic and university education is straightforward. You have said it, hands-on skill.
Okay.
At the university, the model, they come up with theory. They hypothesize theory about, for example, the camera in front of me, how does it look like and all that. But at the Polytechnic, we want to apply that theory to make sure that that thing comes to workability. What am I saying? In an economy, we have the demand and we have the supply side. The Polytechnic actually take care of the supply side in terms of industrialization. How do we have equipment that we can use to do a lot of things that we import? And that so that when our students get to the market, they are not really looking for a job. They become employer of labor. That's why you see that our graduates can use their hands better than their counterparts in the university. Okay. You see, what is causing this problem is that, we have what we call certificate illusion. What is certificate illusion? I have BSc, I have PhD, I have professor, I have this, I have professor and all that. Without asking, what can you do with your hand? I think now what we should be talking about is if I want to work here, go to the camera, let's say I want to operate it. Can you operate it? Can you do this? Can you do that? That should give you a job. Okay. Not the certificate you have and all that. So what we do in the Polytechnic, more practical. We focus really on practical, hands-on skill. What can you do with your hands? How do you use for example, if you're a mechanical engineering student, how do you fix the problem in the vehicle? Not that you be an engineer that cannot screw or unscrew a vehicle and you say you're an engineer. So that's what we do. If you're a builder, we want to teach you how you construct a building that will not collapse. That's what we do in Polytechnic.
I was wondering, so really, there would be, you often hear the expression skill gaps, and first of all, skill gaps, universities will be filling some of those gaps. The polytechnics generally will be filling some of those gaps. Or is that not factual? Is it that, it's actually the polytechnics that fill these gaps?
We should be filling the gap. Sometimes last year, let me give you this information. I was at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport to take a friend coming from US back home. And I saw a lot of Indians, Lebanese, a lot of foreigners coming into the country. I asked a question, what were these people coming to do in the country? They said they were actually going to Dangote. We have out of the very good refinery in Lagos here. They said they are going to that refinery for welding and fabrication and all that. You look at that. The job that Nigerians should be doing, we are also looking for what we call a quota from people from abroad to come and do that job. The job of the Polytechnic is to provide skilled labor that should be able to do that kind of welding and fabrication. For example, at Federal Polytechnic Laro, we have welding and fabrication. I want to tell you that our students in that department can do various kinds of welding, including underwater welding. Okay. You know, there's modern technology now whereby you can weld inside the water and you fix this pipe and all that. We have a lot of equipment being supplied by the federal government of Nigeria to actually teach the youth on how to do a lot of things like that. So imagine if you have many polytechnics running welding and fabrication. Why do we need to still be relying on people abroad coming to do welding and fabrication for us? And Dangote, look at the amount of money that we can be earning. A friend of mine went to university in Germany to do PhD. When he was there, he was puzzled that only the Africans were in that university studying. Most of this developed world, they have left certification trying to learn what they can do with their hands, because that is what actually developed the economy. If you want to drive the economy, look at our economy, where we used to import almost everything. In such an economy, we need Polytechnic in the way that we train students that can do a lot of things with their hand rather than being theoretical. That's why I've said earlier on that in our own Polytechnic, the course curricular is 60% practical, 40% theory. And we normally do it so that you want to see what you do with your hands in whatever discipline you are into, such that when you are out, you are ready for the market. Even though if there is no white-collar job, you can start a job on your own, because we have entrepreneurship center that we normally train them on how to do tailoring, how to make do fabrication, how to, for example, make beads. We do a lot of entrepreneurial work, because we do not want people to go out to be looking for a job. That's the difference between polytechnics and university.
How does the Polytechnic, as opposed to a university then, how does it then go about its research? Because industrialization and Polytechnic research is what I'm leading at here. How is it different from universities, for example?
How is it different? For example, the Honorable Minister of Education yesterday organized a competition in Abuja for every institution to bring their novel equipment. Let me tell you, we were there. We came first at that competition. How did we come first? Because we have a lot of fabrications. Before me here now, you can see a brochure. This brochure consists of everything the Polytechnic have actually done over years. Okay. Assuming this, if we look at the first one I'm seeing, this is what we call a mechanical engineering department, produced by mechanical engineering department. What is the use? Dual mode juice extractor. Look at this machine. Assuming you want to increase the capacity of this machine to make sure that it produces large quantity of juice, we can do it. And we have a lot of them. This is another one. This is called product stone crushing machine. If you put stone hard thing inside this machine, it's going to crush it into pieces. This was manufactured at Mechanical Engineering of the Federal Polytechnic. So why is different is this? We are doing something that you can see physically. So, and this will help industrialization. A lot of this equipment we normally rely on China. We get it from China and other. For example, look at this tricycle. We produce a tricycle in Ilaro that uses electricity. We charge it through a battery. We also have inverter, and we also have CNG. You know, three in one tricycle that can take as many as 15 passengers. That was manufactured at the Mechanical Engineering / our Innovation Center. So the point we are making is this: if indeed you want to reindustrialize this country, we needed to pay attention to Polytechnic, because we can do things that you will see physically that can drive the economy. You know, I talk about the supply side of the economy. Why do we need to be importing this kind of equipment when Polytechnic can do it? What we need to do, let me tell you, give Polytechnic task, design something for us. We want to solve this problem in the market. We will design it, and it's going to be manufactured there by the industrialists.
And you have been undertaking, or is it that you are ready for such projects,
yes,
or that you have actually been undertaking some of them?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Here,
for instance, the stone crushing machine, for example, there will be applications for
Yes, we've been doing that. That's why I said that when Abuja yesterday, we took some of them, sample of them to Abuja. We came first.
There used to be a federal government research facility, was it in Oshodi somewhere, where they were coming up with all sorts of products. I don't know if you know about that, or perhaps I'm not, because you certainly will know about those kind of areas. They relate directly to you. So this Federal Institute of Industrial Research or something like that in Oshodi. But the other question behind that, I wanted to ask you, how much of a challenge is the sharp drop, as we learn, that is occurring in science students in secondary school?
That's a fantastic question. Very brilliant questions. It is worrisome. We have done research that shows that the percentage of youth in science to non-science courses, science less than 10%, non-science 90%. For a country that wants to grow, that wants to drive development, it should not be like that. In China, right from primary school, where we have kindergarten school here, where we put our words, the money and all that. In China, primary and kindergarten school, what are they doing? They put a lot of old computer, old photography, old machine for this kid to be looking at on how to what is inside that thing. Sometimes if you see plane flying, you want to find out how is it flying. So imagine if I see a turbine right from primary school, I begin to see something rolling inside that aeroplane. That simply means that when I grow up to secondary school, I'm beginning to get familiar with that kind of machine. So the point is that the number of youth running science is very, very small. Let me tell you, we have a department called Automotive Engineering in Federal Polytechnic in Kelaro. We've been looking for an automotive engineer for the past few months. We've not gotten anyone. I now conducted research. I was told that how many automotive engineers do we have in this country? Very few.
Total?
In total. How many metallurgical engineers do we have in this country? Aerospace engineers, how many do we have? That's to tell you that from secondary school, we need to redirect our strategy to encourage youth to pay attention to sciences. And why they are running away from it is mathematics, physics, and chemistry. People want to get courses that may not be useful. Imagine studying sociology, anthropology, of what use?
Those that have studied those things, you're not exactly saying that they've been wasting their time.
Well, no, what I'm saying is this. The youth of today should begin to look elsewhere, because the world is going into another direction. Gone are those days when you study courses like that. But today, we should be thinking of courses like aeronautic engineering, automotive engineering, mechanical engineering, all those things that will drive the economy. Even computer science, look at the facilities we do have here. If you are not knowledgeable in computer science or computer engineering, you might not be able to understand this equipment I'm seeing in front of me. So the point I'm saying is that we need to encourage our youth to pay attention to sciences.
To sciences. Do you take in only science students, or because there are some polytechnics that, they have their little proportion for, well, I don't know, maybe not necessarily here, but you hear about economics being studied in some polytechnics abroad, but here, is it 100% science-based?
No, the way it runs is this. Professor Bugajid, our National Board for Secretarial Education, that's the MBTES, is doing a human job. What is it doing? There's a ratio called 70-30%. In every polytechnic in Nigeria, 70% of them should be sciences and technological courses, 30% should be non-technical, like accountancy, business admin, and all that. So that's been seriously regulated. So, and that you cannot go above that ratio. In other words, your courses must be within that that limit, that 30-70. For example, at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, our ratio is always 70 to 30. We make sure that all our engineering courses are more, even the applied sciences and environmental studies, they are more than the non-science courses. So that's what Professor Bugaje is doing.
Things like accounting, like
accounting, business admin, we also have it. But I'm saying that the percentage is smaller.
Okay.
It's not as high as those that we have in Nigeria. For example, under this regime, under my regime, we started a new department. When I came in 2022, the department we did have was 24. We have added another 24, making 48. So those
48 departments.
Yeah, we have 48 departments. I want to tell you.
That begins to give you some indication for those who have never been to the Polytechnic in Ilaro. It gives some indication as to the scope and size of that institution.
We have 48 departments now, consisting of 97 programs. So, and I want to tell you for free, that program, 70% to 30, they are engineering, pure and applied sciences, environmental study like architectural, building construction, exit management. So the ratio we would never, in fact, Professor Bugaje doesn't tolerate that nonsense. He wanted us because he knows that if we want to develop this economy, we need Polytechnic. In fact, that's why we have been talking about skill. Imagine everything that I'm seeing here. I don't know whether you have not brought the people who have done it from Cotonou and Togo and all that to do ordinary tiling. We are looking for people for skills that will be able to fill that gap. Even plumber. How many plumbers do we have in this? We don't have them again. So we need to look for them.
And those are that's supposed to be the forte of Polytechnic.
That's what we do. I'm saying that's why if you graduate as, for example, HND building in our Polytechnic, you must learn tiling. And you will be certificated. Not only that, you must also know the basic elements about plumbing and all that, because we do not expect you to study HND or ND building in Federal Polytechnic and begin to look for a job. So you must be able to create job by doing some of these things that I'm seeing in front of me here.
Indeed. Okay, talking about this technology, but what you're saying is that you don't expect builders coming out of the Polytechnic Ilaro to be building defective,
No, of course I don't, because they are well taught.
Yes.
We have in our building department, we have structural engineers, we have people that they are well modeled, and most of the job equipment we have here, we have undergone patenting. We have patented them.
What is your experience with the way technologies, some of which would have been developed by institutions like yours, are received by the market, by the people? People have this penchant for something abroad, foreign. It's made there. It's made abroad. And you are explaining some of these things to us. China, even on social media, you see a lot of these kind of devices that are coming out of China. So I imagine their technical universities or polytechnics might be doing the same. What's your experience with receptivity of your target audience to materials produced in Nigeria?
Well,
equipment produced.
That's why we will continue to salute our president. You cannot fix a country that has been comatose over years. I can see that the direction of the president is very clear. In fact, his investment in polytechnic education is high. You can see in the last budget, education, I think is around number 3 in the allocation. To your questions, we cannot get there in a day.
Okay.
The challenge we have, why we begin to see that people have penchant for imported goods, is very simple. One, for most of this equipment that we are seeing, our steel industry is not really functioning, the Ajaokuta of this world. The challenge we have is foundry. In mechanical engineering today, you should be able to cut iron to precision with certain machine. For example, the ventilator at the electric tricycle we developed, everything about that tricycle was manufactured at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. The design, everything. Do you know, sir, that when it gets to manufacturing the motor, that was designed in Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. We took it to China.
Because it can be done more.
We are going to deliver. It's not only Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. We have Yabatech, we have so many other. They are doing wonderful things. But the issue is that how do we take it to the market?
Okay. Okay, we're coming up to the 45th anniversary, the 45th birthday, so to speak, of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. That's coming up on the 19th. And this is part of the reason that we're familiarizing ourselves with that institution, with the rector of the university, Dr. Mukail Aremu. And Miriam has called in from Ikorodu. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning to the rector, sir.
Okay.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm just here just to add to what he has been saying since, concerning what he said earlier, that they constructed a tricycle using solar and inverter stuff. My own opinion on that is, when they did that in the school, they should make it school shuttles. People seeing it, even if when they shouldn't wait for government to finance such things. If they can just produce one, even if our schools shuttle, people, commuters outside might see such and have interest in sponsoring such with them. At least, like me now, if I see such, I can just ask how much will it take for me to just, even if I can get one for personal use. But right. My own just that you should not wait for government before they do more of such things. Okay. Just one tricycle that is electrical use would be good for school shuttles and the lights. It's a good work. They should please keep it on and not wait for government alone. We private individuals too can invest in it if they make it happen.
Thank you, Miriam. Dr. Kinde?
That's a very fantastic, very good advice. That's a welcome one. Let me inform her that the tricycle, we have three types that we're already using. We use one in our examination center to carry scripts during the exam. People see it. We also have one that we used to buy fuel from the petrol station. You know, instead of using Okada and all that, an electric tricycle, we take it to buy diesel and all that without necessarily using money, spending money on diesel again. And we have 10-seater already. My plan is ongoing now to start. We want to start using it to convey students from one location to the other, because what we normally do is researches that have impact in our polytechnic. Let me inform you of this. We usually take attendance in classroom. You know, students might not want to come for lectures and all that. So we now felt that the time lecturers use in taking attendance is always longer. Do you know what we did? We manufacture biometric device. That should have been imported. We didn't import it. Because if you imported that machine device, the cost is about 2 million naira. But everything about that device, it was taken to Abuja yesterday, was manufactured at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. Now we use it to take attendance at classroom. So most of the thing we spent our time on is what is useful in the Polytechnic. That's why I'm just informing her now that the tricycle, actually, we've started using it to do one or two things so that people can see it. And some of them have started coming to discuss with us on how to mass produce it. Because the problem we have is, how do we mass produce it?
Okay, funding.
Yeah, funding, because we do not have fund capacity to mass produce it. But we can plan, we can give them the design, we can give them engineering machine that can do it. And that's courtesy of what the third fund under the ES, Executive Secretary, Architect Eshono, is actually trying and giving us a lot of equipment. But we want to see how we want to make it happen. We want to make it happen to see this thing being used in the market. So that's why I'm saying that the Polytechnic should address the supply side of the economy to make sure that this economy is in.
Big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath.
I think that there should be an encouragement of the products, the graduates from the Polytechnic. One, year in year, we do our so-called project. Then, as for the project, should not just be, after you graduate, you throw it into the dustbin or has it. It should be an archive. We should be able to make reference, and out of 100 our products as our project. Then you're able to what? Have what is called a research center, which will be able to what? We're able to harness. As our professor said earlier, that, you do brought some of these very products to some of these lesser classes, where you're able to inspect. That's what we able to encourage as well. And secondly, one is, government should be able to see to it that, I, as an HND holder, how I would design our thing. And someone with a BSc who doesn't have what it takes to make something that wow. Maybe I heard over minutes, he will serve anyway. Nigeria cannot move from that. They should breed average genes to so-called dichotomy between the HND and BSc. That's the only way that can make the nation grow.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Akonde, for calling in. I did detect a smile when you got to that place on the lips of the rector, which probably indicates to me that he has a thing or two to say about that. This whole dichotomy about HND, BSc, you've touched on it, but Akonde brought it up again.
Well, it's an issue that government has tried to address over years, and it's still lingering. When I was discussing the other time, I said the challenge of this country is about certificate illusion. This is, I have HND, I have BSc, I have MSc, I have PhD, I have this, without necessarily asking questions on what can you offer. In this place that I'm seeing now, I know that if you want to employ anyone here, you are not going to be looking at certificate as such. You want to look at what will he or she offers. Back to what he has said. Polytechnic education started in United Kingdom in 19th century. And it started when there was skill gaps. When UK saw that they're having challenges of fixing things, electrical works, plumbing works, Polytechnic started. University of East London was a polytechnic. It was converted to a university. Even our neighboring country here, Ghana, I was there for a conference. Was that not in 2022 or 2023 thereabouts? I was marveled. The Polytechnic of Ghana was converted to Technical University of Takoradi, Technical University of Ghana, or TTD. We call it TTD. It's a university in Ghana. I now know that in Ghana, as two major universities, that University, Technical University, and University of Ghana. I attended the University of Ibadan. Why did I perform? And none of them was able to beat us. So it simply means that something is wrong. And that if you check the new act that establishes the Polytechnic, it actually says that we can offer degree and higher degree.
It actually says
that's what is in that act. So, and that is what Professor Bugaji, that's our National Executive Secretary, MBT, is trying to address now. That one, they needed to look at that act to see how do we make it implementable. Okay. If you make it implementable, it simply means that HND discrimination between BSc will be a thing of the past. And what caused it is because we are not doing well in the industry. HND graduates really are not meant to be in the academics, and what they should be in the industry, fixing problem. But because we have problem of industrialization, we appear to import almost everything, even from the clothes I think you are putting on Nigeria and all that.
I am Nigerian.
So you show that you are Nigerian. But for everything Nigerian put
just
on,
a little joke.
From the glasses, from the iPhone, we import everything. So if you do so, it means that they will be deficient in the industrialization. Okay. So that's why I kept on saying that what will make HND certificate attractive is to make sure that we industrialize this economy, because if, for example, Dangote PLC want to hire someone, maybe Beshe, he's not interested in the PhD or whatever you are. How do you use a hand to do it? Can you do it?
That's the important thing.
Because we are moving from can you do it, that's why we are where he is.
I must interrupt you because Mazi Okoroafo, a regular on the program, a viewer, he's been waiting for quite a while. So thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess. So yes. You see, our system, the educational system, there is
Our system, I didn't hear that. Our system is what?
Our system is good. In those days of that 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Okay.
But even though we brought this 633 and that brought this to 12 years, the question is not that we have to, I could have suggested that the government to have teachers train and retrain, prepared for it. This state issue of now, even though we finish the secondary school level, as the guest was just talking now, we should now have what we call university, specialized university. If it's University of Science, Medical Sciences, purely on medical, nothing like engineering, nothing like agriculture, specialized. If you have University of Agriculture, purely agriculture, nothing like management. This will help us have the need, have the source to that. Now, Nigeria is facing a very big problem. Last year, the ASU president was talking that the last lecturer. I start asking myself, federal university, state university, private university, you produce first-class graduates. In those days, no, we belong to BBC, born before computer. If you have first class, you will be employed.
BBC, born before computer. Okay.
But now, what happened? You produce first class graduates, you leave them to enter into the labor market. Now, why did you that is quite complain that you lack lecture? You don't lack lecture. And today now, the vice chancellors we are having now, they are not turning federal universities to indigenous universities. Reason, just listen very well. Do you know, as of yesterday, one of our lecturers was that do you know social candidates got 300 and something, above 300 in the university? That's one of these 80. And this candidate was not offered admission to medicine. And the same university, the same department, somebody scored 200 and something, 200, less than 200, 230. He was offered that very medicine. Why? Because of the state disadvantage, because of it's not from that place, because the barriers we are facing into that. It is not the question of the policy. The people there implementing that, they are not doing the needful. Honestly, if I have my way today in this country, all the vice chancellors, federal or state, they should be special parents to all the federal universities and state universities. Because can you imagine in today like that, whether it's Polytechnic or Monotechnic, you come to school, a lecturer, you are doing let's say University of Owogu. Now you are there working, and you have other schools where you are going to lecture up to 5 places. The primary place are employed, you are not there. Now you stay in Bagada. Then let me take Lagos and take a you now stay in Ogun State. You stay as a student for the project. To come from Lagos State, come and does it make sense? Where will you actually get the money to transfer the people out there? Vice are not monitoring the lecturers. They are not monitoring. They are not monitoring. So there's a lot of zigzag.
All right. Well, Mazi, thank you very much, Mazi. I really appreciate your call, and maybe I'll let the rector react to some of the points that you made.
Listen, thank you very much, Mr.
Mazi
Okoroafo. You have done very well. That was a very motivating discussion.
I think the man is from your community. He's from your educational community.
The issue is that, like I said at the beginning, we can't solve the problem of the country like a magician in one day. It's one after the other. He mentioned about the issue of students not being well attended to in the University of Polytechnic, but I want to assure you, Federal Polytechnic in Laro, that's why I said earlier on, we have just manufactured biometric device. What do we use to do to take attendance for students in the classroom? To be sure that students go to class and lecturer also attend to them. We monitor it. Not only that, we have also trying to monitor the way our students dress. Because you know that, show me your friends, I know who you are. How you dress also is very important. We appear to have the best set of students that dress properly.
In spite of the freedom that students in tertiary institutions demand.
Students don't like coming to Ilaro. Those that are there, because as a parent, you want your ward to be well monitored, both academic and moral. We monitor the way they dress and all that. Once you dress indecently, you are sent back to your home. We don't allow that. From the gate, you will not get entrance to to our Polytechnic, and that the issue of admission, yeah, that's a national discourse that we cannot, it's a policy issue and all that. And definitely if we want to continue to be a one country, just like we are trying to achieve, and it's very good, we must know that there is less, there are states that are less advantaged academically. So if they must be given that kind of courses, yes, because that is what the law says. But for I know that the VC that you mentioned, they also monitor the students, they monitor the activities, academic activities. It's not like that in so many of the federal universities and other. Maybe, I don't know, but I know that in my own case, we monitor our students and other, and we are doing fine. Okay. And that's why Federal Polytechnic in Laro is a household name. You know, it's like we are the best. I want to tell you, we are the best Federal Polytechnic in this country because we do things differently. Like Liverpool will say that we don't work alone. We cannot work alone because we have people.
I was going to say, Yabatech, Uncle.
Yabatech was created several years. That was even the first, 1947 or thereabout. Yes. But the age does not matter. Yabatech is also doing well. Yes. Because my very good friend is the rector. He's also doing wonderfully well. But generally, every polytechnic is doing well. Kaduna Polytechnic, Laro, we are doing so well. And I've told you the direction.
Do you often interface with each other?
Of course, we used to interface. If I have challenges, I call Yabatech, I call Rector Ibadan Poly, or even Kaduna Poly. How do you solve this conundrum? We interface, even in the idea of research. We collaborate. We want to, because what we need to do, I've said it. Give us foundry. Let our foundry work. If the foundry works, we will solve the problem of this country because we are going to industrialize this country. Look at our palm kernel, palm oil producing machine. We can construct a bigger one that will give us large quantity of palm oil. So why do we need now to import palm oil from Malaysia? Malaysian that came to take, although I read it in history, I was younger. Yes. Alanda, they came to take our pantry. Now selling palm oil to us, that's not good enough. It's not a good story. So we need to change those narratives. And that's why Polytechnic is what can solve the problem. And I've given a direction. If you want to solve the problem for education, Polytechnic and HND dichotomy, let Polytechnic, just like they do, so many of the Polytechnic I listed in Ghana, in Canada, in Singapore, they award degree up to PhD. Why not in the Polytechnic? And if you want to do so now, it simply means that there should be two regulatory agencies.
Okay. Okay, just as you said,
just as it's been done in Ghana here, our neighbor, there should be a regulatory agency that will regulate technical universities, technical polytechnic that award degrees in technical area. Okay. And the conventional regulation of maybe courses like conventional courses, they should be separated because their pedagogy is different.
Which will, the point you just reached now, this is what will lead us on to the funding of education, particularly polytechnics.
The funding, I must say that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can see from the budget, even if you have no budget, allocate resources. Budget allocate resources, you know, after security, I think the next one is, if I'm correct, the third one is education. That shows that the attention President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR is given to education is second to none. Not only that, he pays very good attention to polytechnic education because the funding has also increased drastically, unlike in the past. Look at what happened within 18 months of this present administration. We've been talking of IPs, integrated payroll system that pays our salary. ASU had been fighting to move away from IPs, but within less than 2 years, the president has moved us away. We will not pay our salary directly. That shows that the president is a lover of education. Otherwise, we will still be in IPs. Look at NEL fund. A lot of my students benefited.
Exactly.
A lot of my students benefited. Those who didn't have how to pay their school fees suddenly got money. Loan that is interest free. They will repay back only after they start working. Okay. That's the way it happens in developed nations.
Let me interrupt you again because Jerome has called in from the UK. Good morning, Jerome.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Are you listening to me?
We can hear you.
Right. Yeah. Well, what I want to say actually is that what you need in Nigeria you need trade centers. That's what they used to have before.
Trade centers?
Where they train people as electricians.
Okay.
They do carpentry, joinery, still works, factory. At the end of that City and Guilds certificate, that City and Guilds certificate can be used in the world. This is a course they can do for about a year, 6 months to 1 year. Yes, good morning, sir. I've been listening to the rector there, the Polytechnic rector. What you need in Nigeria? Well, I'm a 75-year-old man. When I was growing up, when I was growing up, we used to have trade centers in Nigeria.
Okay.
Where they teach them carpentry, they do carpentry, they do joinery, they do bricklaying, they do plastering, and at the end of it, you get a qualification called City and Guilds.
Mm-hmm.
That certificate, you can use it everywhere.
Okay.
We came to Nigeria with my family around Awolowo Road. It rained and the whole house. You could see how beautiful this house is. But when it rained, the whole room everywhere, even you have to raise your legs up in the bedrooms. And then the guy came. We kept phoning this plumber, and he will come and he will say, "Look, what are you going to do about this?" I said, "Where are the pipes?" I worked many years before I retired as a quantity surveyor. Okay. I first went to Greenville College of Technology, and there they teach you some of these things. Because when you are managing a job on site, you got to know what they are going to do before you can manage them, before you can say you haven't done this job properly. We need to go back to the basics.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I beg your pardon. Thank you very much for calling in. That's a 74-year-old who called in. And what can now put in context the City and Guilds, the trades. Maybe briefly, because we've run out of time. That particular aspect, I think, is a fine place at which to leave this, because education then and now.
Education is still the way it is. What he was talking about, City and Guilds and all that, it's now being replaced by NSQ. And that at the Polytechnic now, we are also now encouraging our students to register under NSQ. Whereby
NSQ
I don't have the national skill certificate or something like that and all that. What they do there is to now, they learn a particular trade. You know, when they want to do exam in that kind of courses is different. Okay. You want to learn how to, for example, fix solar energy and all that. What will happen is that they will train you how to do the panel, how to do this, how to do that. And you now have to do it. So they will examine you based on what you are doing.
It's a particular skill. And you'll be certificated on that. And when but we gave up on City and Guilds.
I think what is now of in vogue now is NSQ. And that our ES is also talking about it, that every Polytechnic should ensure that every graduate of Polytechnic, before graduation, he has that certificate so that he can make it employable. And that's what we know. We have Cisco. Cisco sanitation certificate so that when you get out, you can also, I know time is almost
we've run out of time.
So that we can now.
We've run completely out of time.
Certainly, I want to say thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we want to thank you too for coming along.
This is a wonderful, I was here at Ikosi, your studio. This is a state-of-the-art facility. I doubt whether any TV station has this in Nigeria. I doubt whether any TV, I don't want to mention names, has this kind of facility in Nigeria. Well, it's a wonderful edifice, and I want to wish the owner very well so that it continues to do well. TVC is a very big brand, I must tell you.
Thank you very much.
And I used to listen to you in most of your programs. I'm very happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. I can't add anything to that. Dr. Mukail Aremu Akinde,